Hello guys, welcome to CS Tech Solution. Today's is learn as a data analytics. Today's is learn as a part 6 is incorrect and the invalid datas. As the incorrect and invalid datas are as a common data qualities problem. And the incorrect datas is the constraint the values that as do not represent a true information, and while as unvalid data does not as follow the rules and the or as a constraint is defined for as a field. And the first is the incorrect values. Incorrect values is values that as exist in a data set but as does not represent the correct real world informations. And example, as actual age is 24 and as a recorded age is 42, and this the values as the 42 is a valid numbers, but it is incorrect because it does not represent the person's actual age. In this the case as woman's errors, as incorrect data entries, as the outdated information, as data transfer problems, and as incorrect source data. Second is invalid values. Invalid values is does not satisfy the rules or as allow the conditions for as a particular field. Like the age is must be gives between 0 to 120, and the age is gives as a -5 is invalid, and is percentage is gives like between the 0 to 100, and the percentage is give like a 100 150 is invalid. And the example age like gives a -10 and the percentage is gives the 150%, and the rating is gives like a 8, then the allows in the values are as rating is gives the 1 to 5, and the rating is gives like a 8, and the gender is gives the ABC, then as only as a predefined, and the categories are as allow. And the invalid email format, invalid dates, and difference as incorrect is the values may as follow the format, but as a constraint is a wrong information. And invalid means the values is wallets as defined the rules. And the third is a data entry errors. Data entry errors is occurs then as incorrect information is as entered into system manuals or as through the input process. And the example as actual means as rupees, and write as 25,000, and enter the 2,50,000, and this is the errors. And the common data entries error like wrong numbers, as missing the digit, extra digit, as wrong characters, wrong selection, as transposed digits, and incorrect dates and the categories. And the example as a phone numbers has to give like a correct phone numbers in as a 10 letters is to give, and the numbers position is to change, and enter the one numbers as the positions has to check like four sorry as a fifth and sixth numbers as position has to change, and the two digit have and been as enter the incorrectly. And this is the case as typing took quickly, and the lacks of the validations, and the human mistakes, and the poor users interface, and manual data entry. And fourth is topographical error. As a topographical errors is topo, and is mistakes is made while as typings or as entering the data, as the correct to write as Ahmedabad, and M and E is position is to change as topographical errors, and the Gujarat to write but as a one letter as missing in the topographical errors, and the customers has to write but as uh, as a position has to change, and other letters to write in this the topographical errors, and the Junagadh to write, and as one letter is missing, and Sachiv to write as last letter as two time to print, and the common types as missing the characters, as the extra characters, wrong characters, as the transposed characters, as the extra space, and as incorrect capitalization. And as examples like correct is Ahmedabad, but as incorrect is E and M, the position has to change. And the topographical errors are as particularly as common in as a name, address, cities, as the product names, and categories, and the emails address. And the fifth is invalid dates. Invalid dates does not represent a valid calendar's date, or as does not as follow the required date rules. And first as 20 sorry as the 31 and days as the second month and the 2026, but as the second month is not last date is 28 and the 29, so this is the invalid dates. And first month has a 32 is invalid dates. And as a month to write as a 15, only as a 12 month has to give, so this invalidates. And as a month as 30 is invalid, and this the constraint the invalid month and the days is the combinations. And the date format problems, as the date may is also be as a valid but as stored in and as unexpected formats. And first as date, month, and the year has to gives, and after the year, month, and the date has to gives, and as third times is date and the month initials and the year has to gives, and this should be as standardized than the unnecessaries, sorry, as necessaries. And how to the validate dates is checked as a valid day, month, year, and is a correct date format, and the logical date range, and the business rules. And the example, if the employees is joining, the date is cannot be as before the company's establishment date, and the date should be as checked against that business rules. And the invalid numbers are as numerical values, and that as a wallet expected rules, and as a constraint. And the examples, if the age must be as between the 0 and the 120, and the age like gives as -5, and the 2050, sorry, as a 250 is both as invalid. And the numericals validations can include as minimum values, maximum values, as the decimals projections, and the positive and negatives restrictions, and the required numerics types, and the allow the range. And the other examples like a percentage is 0 to 100, and the gives like 150 is invalid. As a ratings is gives as a 1 to 5, and the gives as a 8 is invalid. And the quantities as if the quantities cannot be a negative, so this the right as a -20 is invalid. And seventh is the invalid categories. Invalid categories is occurs and the categorical field, and the constraint the values that as is are not included in allow the set of the categories. And the example as allow the categories like a male, female, and the other. And the data set is gives of one record to the gender is ABC. ABC is invalid categories. And the previous ones is used as a drop down list, as the data's validations, lookups tables, and the database constraint, and as a standardized categories codes. It is a data validation. Data validation is a process of checking whether data has followed the predefined rules as before or after it has entered the data set. And the common validation rules like a range, so the range age must be gives like a 0 to 120, and the format as a email must as a follow the email pattern, and the data types is age is must be as a numerics, and the name is must be as a strings, and the required is as customers names cannot blanks, and the categories is a status must be as a form so as approve the list, as a uniqueness the customer IDs must be as a unique, as a date is must be as a valid formats, and as a length is mobile numbers must is required or digit is 10, and for the example as employee age is failed, and the rules as age is gives between the 18 and as a 65, so the 25 is valid, and as a 70 is unvalid, and minus 5 is invalid. Ninth is a error correction. Error correction is a process of as a fixing the identify the incorrect or as a invalid dates, and the common incorrections methods as correct the values using the trusted sources, and the fix spellings errors, and the replace the invalid values as the standardized format, and the as a convert the incorrect data types, as remove the records then as appropriate, and request the as correct informations, and apply the predefined business rules, and as a gives example as a before as a name cities and the age is the minus 5, and after the correction as age is give like a 25, and important as do not guess the importance values without a justifications. For the example, if the employee salaries is missing, and you should not randomly to enter a salaries just to remove the missing values. And the 10th is data verification. Data verification means as checking the whether is corrected or as clear the data is actual correct, and the validations is asked as does the data is follow the rules, and the verification is asked is data is the actual as correct, and example as suppose the city is equal as Ahmedabad, and the spelling mistake is gives as the correct after the Ahmedabad spelling is right, and the analyst should as verify the correct city using as a reliable source or as a original record, and the verifications method like as a compare with as a original data, and the compare with trusted sources as the check the business rules, as review the corrected records, and as run the qualities checks, and as compare the befores and the after results, and the perform the simple checks. Thank you guys to watch the videos. Please subscribe the channel, on the notification and bell icon.